Welcome to Free to Speak, the New Zealand Free Speech Union podcast. If you enjoy the show, subscribe for uncensored conversations and free speech news from New Zealand and beyond.
Kia ora, and welcome to Free to Speak, the official podcast of the New Zealand Free Speech Union. My name is Dane Giraud. I am your host and a council member of the Free Speech Union, and joining me today, very special guest, Shubz of Shubz Says on Radio Aotearoa.
Let's go. Shubz Says So, Radio Aotearoa. Shubz live in the building, baby. Free Speech Union. I love free speech. I'm all about free speech. Let's go, Dane Giraud.
Awesome. So look, we've got a topic that's obviously you're getting a lot of crap for this. I get crap for it too, from my community. And the smaller communities, a lot of the larger communities probably don't have to put up with stuff like this. But it's the concept of the kōpapa. So
Kaupapa or the kūpapa?
Kūpapa.
Oh,
Kūpapa.
the traitor. Yeah.
Oh man, I pride myself on my Maori and everything, and I
The kaupapa or the kūpapa. Yeah,
the kaupapa or the because I said that. I said kaupapa, kūpapa. We'll have our kaupapa will be kūpapa, and then I screwed it up. But that's natural. So okay, so let's talk about that. What is a kūpapa?
What is a kūpapa? So, kūpapa to me is obviously, well, from my understanding, the word kūpapa is thrown out to people that seem to be traitors to their own kind, or meaning their own, or Māori, right? Commonly use it for those that sided with the British during colonial times, during colonization and whatnot, because there were a lot of Māori, because the British didn't achieve, taking over a lot of this place without the help from Māori. A lot of Māori were actually awarded medals and were, soldiers that were revered by the British. And obviously Māori were very great war tacticians themselves. I mean, trench warfare, parasites were, obviously people know about that stuff. And, people even use some of our tactics in wars that followed later on. So, yeah, kūpapa, from my understanding, is someone was a traitor to the people who jumped on the side of the British to fight against other Māori.
And of course, that's a term now that's being used today, and sometimes even gets leveled at yourself, brother?
Oh, every day, depending on the crowd. And you know what? I'm sort of looking at it as a term of endearment these days. If you're a kūpapa, it just means you don't go against you don't go with the grain. You make your own way.
So what are some of the reasons why? Like, obviously, your friendship and talking to David Seymour is one of them, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a big one, Seymour, because he's obviously looked at as a kūpapa because he wanted to push through this treaty principles bill, right? Which was obviously something that was to define what are these principles within the treaty that people talk about a lot, whether it's in court, in politics, in parliament, or even in councils, right? They bring up, that goes against the principles of the treaty. And David's not a new guy to this whole treaty principles thing. That was actually some legislation brought out, to try and define what these principles were, like in the 70s, I believe. So yeah, I can't remember. Don't quote me exactly if it was the 70s, either 70s or 80s. I think it was the 70s. The first time that idea had come around, and obviously Rodney Hyde himself, former ACT boss man leader, he also put through a little, or try to push a little bill similar. But in my opinion, what the other side has done is gone and used it as a political football to go, see, look, the Seymour, he's the kūpapa, he hates all the Māoris, he's from Ngāpuhi. When really, if you think about it, and I put up a reel this morning, speaking of the whole kūpapa thing, is I had Seymour on yesterday and he talked about, and I said, you know what, you're actually in line with Ngāpuhi. Like, you think of Hōne Heke, right? A lot of people know Hōne Heke chopped down the flagpole and all that many times. Even though he did sign the treaty, he went against it. Well, David Seymour says, well, Hōne Heke was really a tax revolt. I'm just continuing it now. And if you understand what ACT stand for, they are libertarians, right? And a lot of their policies are around less government intervention on your life, less government, like less taxes, doing more with the pūtea that's available and not trying to suck every dollar out of the people. Right, that's what libertarians pretty much stand for, right? And then people don't know that, and they wouldn't listen to that because now they've painted Seymour as he's the worst human in the world. The crazy thing is now, because I've had him on a bit, and we have yarns, and I have personal conversations with him. I can ring him and can text him up and that. And people that are of that ilk, of that side of Māori that believed what, say, Rawiri, Waititi, and all the rest of them say about, because don't forget they created this whole march off the back of David Seymour and that Treaty Principles Bill, right? Toitū te Tiriti. And even me, bro, I was over in Aussie, and I was like, oh yeah, get up, my cousins, do your thing too much. But I wasn't really tapping into the politics side of it at home, even though I had been very politically aware since I was a kid. I wasn't living at home, so I wasn't as fully tapped in, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I took on the Kaupapa. They had some actions over in Perth where you could go and get amongst it and catch up, you could go and wave your little flags for the people back home. Look, they're gonna go give it to the Seymour guy, but I was just going off the understanding of everybody else, of just what I had been fed. But I also didn't look too much into it, so that's my own fault. Yeah, and then I believe that the Te Pāti Māori and that used it as a political football. Another thing that's interesting about that is when that was happening, when they were all gathering up in the north, there was also this big push. I don't know if have you talked to Sam Troth?
No.
Road to Healing Aotearoa. Have you heard of him?
No.
So he's a guy that's huge against sexual abuse, and which I am too, and like a lot of people know me because of that. Before all of this politics stuff, and he did a thing where he like walked the length of New Zealand and like put out all the cones for all the people who had been touched for abuse in state care and stuff like that. And like none of the politicians came out and talked to him, sort of thing. He marched there, and it's all about, and he was trying to get down the mandatory minimum sentencing down or up, sorry, to 8 years minimum if you get done for sexual violence. So he was trying to push for that. He's also pushing a bill at the moment to get rid of good character references. It does mean mahi, brother. Mean mahi.
Suppression and things? Is he against suppression and things?
Yeah. So, but you know how
Yeah.
how people also have, like, they can get part of their sentence knocked down after they've been convicted with good character references. Like, we've got Johnny here. He's a good bloke. He does so much for his community, but he also fucks kids. So let's like knock his sentence down. So he's trying to say, well, good character references shouldn't be admissible in court.
Like, once you cross that line, you're not of good character.
Good character shouldn't matter. So he's going, he does that kind of mahi. And then he filled me in, and so did others. When all of that stuff was happening, they talk about distractions, right? Then all of those abuses in state care were starting to be read out in down in Wellington. And there was only like a couple of people there, like along with them, to like, why aren't there heaps of people here marching for this? Like, because this is not just a Māori issue; it's across the board. Sexual abuse is a human issue. Yeah, so much in there, and I'm not saying that Te Pāti Māori knew that was happening, and then they did that distraction up and brought everybody, let's march to Parliament now. And I'm not saying that everybody that marched for Toitū te Tiriti was knew that they're sort of being, I think, duped or scammed, just turned into because it just turned into a clothing label pretty much. And then the money went all of these different places, which I've revealed in my videos, some of the places that the money went to, which was really interesting, especially the donations went to Hōne Harawira's Ant Trust. And then the crack up thing is, as soon as I brought that to light, then next minute all the minions are getting in contact with me, trying to like make it, hush, or like, yeah, we've got receipts. And I was getting sent like photos of receipts, like warehouse receipts and that, like, these are all the receipts. I know people that sent like thousands of dollars to this bloody cause, for this Toitū te Tiriti. We're going to save the Māori nation and all that. It was just, I don't know, to me, it was just a scam.
But I tell you what's interesting and what you really highlight there, it's like if you think of woke causes, right? And a lot of Pākehā were right into that march. But and I'm the first to admit it myself. Like, we start to talk about treaty, and I feel dragged out into dark waters, deep waters pretty quickly, because I don't have that historic knowledge, and I'm a guy that worked 10 years in bilingual programming and writing comedies for Māori TV and all sorts of stuff. I still don't have the confidence to really get down into it, because we weren't taught a lot of that stuff at school. So I'm aware that there's a lot of people on both sides of the debate, the anti-Māori, who can really annoy me, and the
Oh
pro
yeah, there's
Māori,
definitely anti-Māori, I think.
like the people that are pro a type of Māori, like the TMP Pākehā, who they're like it's a clash of people that know very little about about actual history and Māori, and I think that's where, to circle back to the kūpapa idea, it's very easy for them to see a Māori in like Te Pāti Māori and go, well, they speak for Māori. That's it. So I'll just agree with everything they say, and I'm on safe ground. But
yeah, that's those white saviors, those great white hopes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but like, to be honest, and the thing is, though, Te Pāti Māori don't speak for all Māori, because there's a whole lot of conservative Māori that don't agree with them whatsoever, and there's even Māori on the left that don't agree with Te Pāti Māori. You know what I mean? Like,
well, more people would have supported national. More Māori would have supported national in the last election than supported Te Pāti Māori.
Oh no, 100%. More people supported national than supported Te Pāti Māori that are Māori.
Yeah, but they're still referred to as
Pākehā supported Māori than Māori that supported Te Pāti Māori.
Well, that's another interesting thing too. Is like with Te Pāti Māori, there could be up to 8,000 votes at a Pākehā, and their level of knowledge or why they're voting, we won't be able to tell.
Yeah. I done seen some receipts on who went where and what they were, and there's way more Pākehā that Te Pāti Māori than Māori did.
Well, and this is something that I think that a lot of people in the majority really don't have to contend with, and that's people like turning up and saying, I'm a community leader, I'm speaking for these people now, which includes you and me. Like, say, if it's in our community, the Jewish community or the Māori community, you'll see these people. You would have had frustration, I bet you, with people that turn up and go, I speak for Māori. And you're like,
oh, I've seen it all my life too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, though. Even as a kid, like, I always think, and not only that, I always think, oh, you're pedophile. Like, I remember, like, co-mātuas, they were pedophiles, and we knew they were. You know what I mean? We were little kids, and we were like, I remember getting like hidings for like calling that shit out. Like, I didn't just start being loud now. I've been loud ever since I was a kid. But I remember calling that shit out, getting hidings, for, that co-mātua was a pedophile, he's a bloody Toitū with the kids. Try to give me a kiss when I'm a little boy too, fuck you. And then next minute, but because they're put on this pedestal, we couldn't say shit. Well, and there's this thing as well inside of this, what they call te ao Māori, which only a certain a bit of Māori fit into this te ao Māori. Not all Māori go into that, because then if you are, then you're a kūpapa, because you're not agreeing with everyone. But if you shine a light on any of that, like the pai pedophiles or anything like that, then what about the churches? Yeah, sure, of course they have fucking churches that have pedophiles. Oh, what about, you know what I mean? Of course there's pedophiles all over it, but there's also pedophiles on the fucking pai. And then if you bring that up, you're a kūpapa. No. Let's call it out across the board, or let's not call it out at all. You know what I mean? Because they get offended, like, oh, what about the Pākehā? Yeah, and that's also fed by these white saviors, the ones that the white fellas that aren't Māori, or falesas, they guilt trip, and then they feel guilty because they've also been, I'm sorry about what my great grandmother's boyfriend did 300 years ago.
So they'll turn a blind eye.
Yeah, brother.
Because of that, or they won't entertain that.
Does that mean like that this motherfucker, like, if you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile, be? You know what I mean? Like, whether you're Māori or Chinese or you're Indian or you're Jewish.
Yeah, they're in every community, and it's like they got called, well, they should be called out in every community.
Yeah, fucking oath, all day, and it shouldn't matter if they're Māori or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm interested in talking to that Sam, was it Sam?
Sam Troth, yeah, but I talked to him.
Troth, because like, suppression is something we're starting to think about very, very hard at the Free Speech Union. And there might be some common cause there, so it would be good to talk to him.
He's the man, brother, straight up.
Yeah, no. This is about.
But yes, but that's what happened. So Seymour, that whole we're talking about kūpapa, right?
Yeah.
And then because of that whole hiding on that hīkoi, people just believe that Seymour wanted to, because that's what I thought. I thought Seymour wanted to rip the treaty up and get it. And I've asked him personally and on the show, and same as Don Brash, Do you want to get rid of the treaty? Do you want to delete? No, it's our historical foundational document. I do not believe that we should get rid of it.
So what I'm hearing is, and this is quite interesting, because it's like what I think is that a lot of the detractors don't. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything David Seymour says. Or Don
hell
Brash
no!
says.
You don't have to agree with nobody.
No. You're having a conversation, but by having that conversation, you are. Well, they're being humanized in your eyes. You know, you're seeing different sides of David Seymour. You're seeing different sides of Don Brash, and of course, people don't want these people humanized. They want them to stay the bad.
That's something that you told me. It's like same like Brian Tamaki.
Brian Tamaki.
People don't want you to talk to him, and then because they don't want to see that he's actually funny, or
he's actually got some I'm into.
He's actually we've got some commonalities. How dare we? You know?
He can have a giggle. Oh wow, that's a different side of him. But people are multidimensional. You know, but bro. And this is the thing in politics, which I hate about politics, to be frank with you. It's like, it's very, look, I had an experience. I'll be honest. I'll be open to the viewers. I was the shamish at a bar mitzvah. So what that means is,
what does a shamish mean?
We're getting there. A shamish means helper. So I'm at the door of someone's bar mitzvah, bringing people in and everything. Sue Bradford comes in, the ex-green, to the bar mitzvah. Now, I see her, and I don't like the greens, right? So I'm looking at her thinking, oh, she's here. What's she doing here, right? But she comes in, gives me a big smile. I was like, oh, that was a lovely smile. Goes in, sits down. She comes out to go to the bathroom, but wants to get back into the shul, right? But everyone's standing, and you can't enter a shul while people are standing. It's just part of the tikanga of the place, right? And I said, oh, sorry, you're not going to be able to go in just at the moment because people are standing. So she, well, why is that? She's genuinely curious. We have a good talk. And then, people said, I say, oh, you can go in now. She goes in. That 2-minute talk I had with her, I liked her. 2 minutes. I'd been bitching and moaning about this woman for 5 years. I speak for her for 2 minutes. I liked her. I couldn't fault her as a human being. She was sweet. She was curious about my culture. She wanted to talk. She was just smiling, lovely. And, I'd probably still disagree with a lot of her politics, but, I met a human being that day. That's the thing. You have that conversation with people. I've come away from quite a lot of interactions and felt like a bit of a dick with these politicians, because I've been...
because it's easy to hear what other people say, and that's why I try to do what I do, brother. We are what you're doing here, try to talk to people that I disagree with, or that I think I do, and try to get to know. But jump on, not to try and do gotcha journalism when I'm interviewing them on the show. Yeah, because this is what people also have to realize too. Shubz Says So on the Radio Aotearoa and Shubz Live on social media. 2 different things. Hey, I can do whatever I want over there. Yeah. On Shubz Says So, the BSA still exists at the moment. You know what I mean? There's a few other things also,
Well, they may still exist after the election.
Advertisers, whatever. So it's a bit different there, right? And also, that's also a platform where I can just, hey, you talk to me, tell us your cordial. Go hard. I've had bloody not Greens. I've had Shannon Holbert on. I've had Georgie Dancy, so a gay and a drag king, and then and then I've had bloody Kulei Wong on, which people are calling a communist. Obviously got the right eyes, but a lot of people saying all these things. And for me, I've also had all of the other opposite. I've had Brian Tamaki on, who's against all that. I've had say Don Brash and national MPs, all of this act, David Seymour. But to be honest, come on, every yarn, let's go. Yeah. I've even had some brothers on there that are just ain't got nothing to do with politics, just want to talk about their meth addiction and how they're changing their life. And, I want to talk to all the brothers and sisters out there that's got things going on. Let's come and have a yarn. That's
that's why I love your show, man, because it's coming from out south, things like meth addiction, one of my best friend growing up was a meth addict for about 10 years. He used to sing in my band. He came right. He found Christianity and came right. He's doing really well. But we don't really hear from people going through that. We don't, and we need to hear. It's going back to that idea that the idea that the woke man. I was getting to this idea with the whole, supporting the treaty thing, but not supporting someone like Sam. Where's the Albert Park level commitment from the woke for a guy like Sam and his hīkoi?
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
You're worried about pronouns, but you're not worried about
what about the 200,000 children that were abused in state care?
You're prepared to punch old women in the face
because they are women.
Because that's how passionate you are about this, that you're prepared to punch a pensioner in the head.
Yeah.
But a female pensioner, and you're a 23-year-old young man, but you won't be shoulder to shoulder with a guy that's walking the whole country to draw attention to sexual abuse. Something is broken, bro.
But yeah, 100%, bro.
Something is broken in that. Like
even our journey, bro, that we did. We whakamahu, heal the nation, brother. We left Parliament, turned away from Parliament, and went into humanity. And funny because people started jumping on board because of politics and whatever. But then I said, well, why don't we leave that behind and come and connect human to human? Let's do that. A couple of other brothers in Kazi got on board. Yeah, let's do it. And then we had this idea, and then the crazy thing is because I had and I know it's like if I had come out and I wasn't sort of like firing shots at Māori and all these different things, or like Māori meaning like the who I think are kūpapas because they're getting funded, like direct taxpayer money to support the people, and they're just like I don't know where it's going. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, that's what I think is a kūpapa. Hold on, you meant to look after your people. Yeah, I got no qualms with no Māori or no Jewish or nobody else getting rich, brother. As long as they're getting rich on their own back in their own way, or they're doing it the right way. But when you're getting funding, this is for you to do all the stuff for the people, and you're going to do enough to tick a box to get some more funding. Oh, dodgy cuss. You know what I mean? Dodgy. And that's me. So because I did that and called out that, and called out a few of the old pedos and this and that and whatever, we don't like them. Let's not go and support this thing, which is sweet. That's all good. But our corridors were literally, most people that came didn't even care about politics. It was around, I got touched with it as a kid. People were crying on my shoulder because I was vulnerable enough to share my story, crying on my shoulder saying, hey, brother, thank you for doing what you do. You made me feel seen. I carved this because of your words, and this represents that, bro. And, look at this. I carved this out of this tree. I made this axe for you, brother, because your words made me do this, that kind of shit. And people crying, tears on your shoulder every day, brother, around the whole North Island, Tika Maui, all because of that, bro. Yes, a little bit of politics, but way more because of the sexual abuse stuff. You know what I mean? And then people be like, you didn't have thousands of people come with you. I don't need no thousands. All those soldiers that came out to share their story and release it and get it off their chest. Even, bro, some of the stories were lethal. Even one lady told me that. And they were lethal every day. But this one lady told me she's 9 years old and mum died. Her mum dies, then the dad rapes her from 9 till she's 20. And the dad and the grandfather have turns on her. So when she's not with the dad, the only person she was allowed to stay with was the grandfather, and he did the same. You know what I mean? And that, it wasn't until I had shared my stuff and she seen my videos that made her be like, "Fuck, thank you, Shubz." And she got to release some tea and come. She just wanted to give me a hug and say thank you.
Wow,
and then
man.
That kind of stuff.
How's that feel?
You know what I mean? And then just because I was vulnerable enough to talk about my issues and how it had wrecked me in my life, and what had happened to me, it made them feel like, So, shout out to all those weapons that I got to see, whether they came to the event or even ones that caught up with us after, just to give a message and say, can we see you here? Or they've seen us in the street. Even some bro in the toilet having a shit, bro, and they're looking over the top, bro. Brother Shubz, can I get a photo, brother? I appreciate ya. Hold on, cuz, let me finish my shit, All good, brother, that kind of stuff. That's mean, brother, but yeah, I definitely know that because they probably didn't. They probably thought, oh, he's coming in and he's gonna try and do, I don't know. And then because I had fired shots at all these people, a lot of the Te Ao Māori that we talked about, right? That everyone else has a kūpapa if you don't align with them. A lot of them, even their media cuss, and you probably worked around with them. I know this for a fact because we were teed up to do an interview with what's his name? With Hōne Harawira's nephew, Tūmama. Tūmama was going to interview because Do you know Sky? She was my manager. Do you know Sky Sterling?
Was she an actor at one point?
I don't know.
Actress at
She
one
worked
point?
in like production in there if I got to Māori for ages. And she freelanced too. But
I do know
you
that
probably know
name,
Sky.
yeah.
Anyway, so we were teed up to do an interview with Tumamau. And then the corridor was, as long as we could talk about our haringa, he could ask us whatever I had said about whoever, his uncle, his John Tamihere, whoever. Ask me the questions. You want the receipts? I got you. You know what I mean? And then he come back, well, I think it was like maybe a few days later, to Sky and said, we'll do the interview, but we won't talk about the hiding. And to me, there was again like censorship. It was like, so this is just before it happens, right? And then they would do the interview with me, but they wouldn't talk about the journey that we were about to embark on, inviting people to come in. And the literal cool whakaaro around it was, the idea was, come to the park, let's have a feed and a conversation. If you want to come on the whole journey, you can. There's freedom camping sites along that journey. If you want to come in, if you just want to meet us at some of these different parks that we go to, cool. You know what I mean? We didn't know what it was going to be. It was just me and my 4 mates that decided, let's do it. Let's give it a crack. Or 3 mates, and then more people were keen, and yeah. And then, so that was the idea. But he said they refused to talk about it. And to me, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So you want me to, and then Sky said to me, well, nah, that's not right. And then I said, I don't care. Like, let's just go anyway. Like, if they want the receipts, you want the receipts on John Tamihere? Like, I can give the receipts on your uncle. I can give the receipts on all of them. You might be coming to do some gotcha journalism on me, but I got all the receipts. So you're gonna make them look dumb. Because if you don't play the whole thing, I'm gonna record it too, and then I'm gonna put it out too. So so that was sort of the thing. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that in my head, right? But the fact that he didn't want to, well, not him, it's probably whoever was in there, didn't want to allow us to talk about our hīkoi, which was literally about having conversations and sitting with our inner child and planting trees for shade we'll never sit under. Like, having a feed in a conversation, no matter your color, your creed, just come and have a corridor in a feed. They weren't willing to talk about that. I was like, oh, yeah, hate us out here. So, yeah.
Look, bro, I'm just going to, I'll push back a little bit here.
Yeah, go hard,
and this is how I'm going to,
push back hard, go.
This is how I'm going to do it. Like, I understand being in a smaller community, in the Jewish community, I understand the tensions about that concept of airing dirty laundry. We have a lot of internal fights. Sometimes it's like, is this appropriate for the outside to see? Now, and the idea being that if the wrong, I'll call them Pākehā, see it, then, they'll use that against us. They'll weaponize that against us. So is that what some of these TMPs, these Hōne Haraweras, these John Tamiheres are thinking? It's like, yeah, there's difference within Māori. There's difference within all groups. If some of this dirty laundry gets out, it will be used against us. Or do you think that's not obviously in the case
of definitely
child abuse?
Well, if you're talking about like specifically people who benefit from the fundings that exist, I think what it is not they'll use
self-preservation.
I believe it'll be, you're gonna make us look bad as a people, but really it's your fucking pocket that's affected.
So there's more stuff going on.
Well, 100%.
So they'll say,
let's take any time that money's involved, right? Anytime that money's involved, then you have to question the person's motive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If money's involved, like as in funding, that can be cut off or that can be stopped because of what I've brought to light, and then I'm the fucking devil. It's like, what else is it? Is it because I'm the devil showing these little bad scars that we have as people? Or is it that you're a bad motherfucker who's gone and done shit, John Tamihere, gone and accessed funding and acted like you're fucking the light for the people? You're also the president of a fucking political party, as well as the fucking president of fucking, or the CEO of Waiparere Trust, who gets all this funding. Like, it's all about fucking cash, brother, all day. And if you don't believe that, then sweet as, because John didn't give a fuck. If you go and look at old John's writings back in the 2000s, he couldn't give a fuck about this kind of shit. Like Te Pāti Māori and the way that they do politics, in this whole grievance politics stuff, he used to run and say it was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that. He was more on the Shane Jones buzz, really.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Also, you know what I mean? But then once, this is what's happened too, and this is what I truly believe. Some Māori have realized there's an economy, because if you think about it, brother, you see where fucking things that happened to our ancestors hundreds of years ago. Also, I'm Scottish and Irish. Some of my ancestors might have been on the other side. I don't fucking know. I haven't done my deep dive into that side of the whakapapa. But like, also, I'm both, cuz What am I gonna do? Kill half of me, or not half of me? I don't know what part of me is that. But you know
look
what
at sorry, bro. Just a little detour. Tohinari was on X, and big ups for going out here. He did a DNA test. He's 12% Māori.
Oh,
like he was like, yeah, he was 30% Welsh.
So pretty much what you're saying is his toe. His toes are mild. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Toe don't really like me, but I don't.
Yeah. Well,
my mate told me Toe don't really like me, and then I said, "Wonder why Toe don't like me." And then I think, well, one is, and then I thought, oh, okay, because I remember him talking about Hōne Harawira and how, you know, Hōne Harawira has his, what did he say? Hōne Harawira is so racist that he has his cup of teas with chocolate milk or something like that. Yeah, something like that. That's what he.
But he's flipped.
No, but that's what Tohinari was like, right? Now Tohinari is all about, you know,
and he doesn't like Winston anymore. He doesn't like Winston.
But not only that, he's on that bloody those statutory Māori boards getting money.
Well, I know that there are people close to me that were in the fight with me who were principled. But here's the thing, man, and I think about this a lot.
Well, people change when they get money. Sometimes.
Well, if I got shoulder tapped and it was like, Dane, $350,000 a year, you'll have a chief executive above you in this organization you're in. They'll tell you what to do. You know, just listen to them and you won't go wrong. And it's like, it's a 5-year, 10-year. I'd be like, well, you know, I got 4 children, bro.
I'd be understand it, brother.
My kids would be sort of, maybe I should shut my big mouth for 5 years.
But I've been offered more than that to shut my mouth about the things that I brought up, and I told them all to get fucked. So, you know, that also shows who you are, brother. Like,
how do I get offered shit?
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I hear what you're saying, but that also shows your character, brother. Like, for me, you can't fucking buy me, cuz. And you can't. You know, you literally can't buy me. I've been offered heaps more money than that to shut my mouth. And I won't. Shut it for me, then, cunts.
well, dude, I wish look. Well, in saying that though, man, I won't throw myself completely under the bus, because like I'm in the film and TV business and I am an outsider, and I've made myself an outsider. Like I've done that with my views and who I am. So it's not like I've been this guy that's you know, relentlessly kissed bum all my career, because I've been the opposite.
Also in the Free Speech Union, I don't think you're kissing their bums to be. No.
Well, that's
no. But what I'm saying is, bro, like for me, like I've been offered that, like I've said, and I put a video out last week because people are like, oh, who pays you? Who owns the station? Well, you dumbass, go and jump on Google and find out, because it's not fucking hard. George Ngātai owns the fucking station. You know what I mean? But George Ngātai can't tell me what to fucking say either. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. You know, if you're gonna have me on your station, you're going to allow me to be me, and I'll play within whatever rules you have that are there. But you can't say, you must say this. Oh, well, because I'll tell you to get fucked. Whether you're George Ngātai, whether you're the fucking president of the fucking world, Donald Trump, I don't care.
Yeah, bro, I mean, it's interesting that, like, and I get this too, like I'm called controversial often, but I can't really think of the view that I hold that's super controversial. And like when I listen to you, like I love your performance style, I love all that kind of shit. I love it, bro. And, you know, when we're you know, this is being recorded for the people. If we weren't recording right now, like it would be a very different conversation. Let me tell you that. But
fuck, I have it here too. But I'll probably advise you not to.
But I don't find you in content. I don't find you controversial. A lot of your stuff is common sense. You know, like you say, you're bringing receipts. You're looking at like.
I'm also happy to like be like corrected. You know what I mean? And then I'll own it too.
Yeah. But I mean, back to the kūpapa thing. Circling back there again,
like kūpapa all day, brother.
Well, I was telling you in the pre-interview phone call that we have a term in, you know, the Jewish people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it's kind of similar. You know, it's another K. It's Kapo. And the capo, a capo is someone that is that is a traitor. So it's the same concept. And there were, you know, obviously in the Holocaust, there were some Jews that would work for the Nazis as Jewish police people to try to round up Jews and do things like that. Right now, they might have been able to say, or some of them would have said, well, I didn't quite know what was going on and all that kind of stuff, but it was clearly a self-preservation thing. That's what they were doing, or I mean, probably an ill advised form of self-preservation, but that's what a lot of them did. Now, today, we are dealing with anti-Zionists, anti-Zionist Jews. Now, many of these people I know personally, and I like them personally. And when I'm in a shul, it might be a bit like being in a marae. It's like if you're at a tangi and there's someone you don't agree with politically, I don't know how you'd feel about this. I think a lot of people would leave that they'd leave all that stuff alone at that point, because we're in the middle of a ritual. It's important. The humanity's coming first. The politics is a distant second. I'm like that when I pray in my shul next to these people. And I, again, in certain aspects of life, I can love them to bits, but then move into the political sphere and I don't like them so much, It's that complexity of it there. But these people can cause us grief. They can even expose us to a little bit of security harm or problems, but they remain Jews. And a person can't be free, a minority can't be free if the most contrary expressions out of that minority cannot be expressed. So
100%, bro.
Yeah, you cannot call a Jew free.
You can't take away my Māoritanga because you don't like what I have to say. And it's the same with David Seymour. You know what I mean? People talk about blood quantum and Māori and how all you need is a drop of Māori to be Māori until you're David Seymour. And then, he's not a real Māori. Or you're Shubz. And you're a traitor to Māoris. Motherfucker. Let's rewind. Let's take it back before the treaty. If we were different iwi or different hapu, because iwis didn't exist, or it was a different hapu, we were knocking each other off anyway. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, when have we been one? We only became one people under a name because the British had to distinguish them and us. Māori, so that's how because Māori was never what we called each other. Māori means ordinary, it means normal. So then Māori was the label they threw on us. So what are you talking about? Whatever Ngāti you were, Ngāti this, Ngāti that, they didn't even Ngāti get along most of the fucking Ngāti time. You know what I mean? But you can't take away my Ngāti because your idea of what a Ngāti is means everything. Shut up.
Well, and then you got Winston Peters and what's happening in New Zealand.
Yeah, he's not Māori enough, and even Shane Jones. Shane Jones is one of the most well spoken Māori, one of the best orators, Māori orators that exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you cannot cast any doubt on who he is as a man. 100%.
Even
where
on
he
the
stands.
He's on there, and even on Scotty, whether he agrees with him or not, he's like, you know what I mean? And where they go and te reo Māori.
Yeah. I want to have a chat with him. I'd love to meet him and have a chat with him. So, David Seymour fascinates me with his Māori thing because he obviously connected with you. Do you think he's... How do I put this without making it sound a bit cringy?
Say it, brother. Say it. It's free speech union, baby.
Is he looking... Where does he stand as a Māori man?
What do you mean, cuz?
But you know what I mean? It's like all my life, and I say this to my children. It's like, what's it mean to be Jewish? And it's like, well, that's your journey. Some people where they stand, especially because they're not in Israel, they're not there. They're the other at the moment, right? And in the society that they're in. So So therefore, what does it mean to be Jewish? Where do I stand as a Jewish man? I think Māori asked this question. And look, and to be honest with you, I've seen Māori who can get very sort of uptight about protocol and tikanga and that, but I know they don't know that much. So there's that insecurity there.
But even that stuff is just weird, bro. Because even that, how they say, we got to do it the tikanga way.
Yeah.
In Māori. Tikanga is different from hapu to hapu, iwi to iwi.
Yeah.
What tikanga? You know what I mean? A lot of it, there's so much virtue signaling too. And I spoke about it earlier. I don't know where Seymour is. If we're all Māori, if we go by this whole blood quantum don't matter, you just need a drop. Seymour's a Māori, whether you like it or not.
What he does,
he's one of the great Ngāpuhi leaders of all time. And whether you agree with that or not, that's your own choice.
That's
but he is
cool.
No.
Yeah, he's there. And I tell you what, that man can argue he can fight his corner. And I don't agree with a lot of stuff that ACT have. I take issue with some of it, but I will always respect a man that can defend himself and fight his corner. And, like him or not, he comes with arguments, man.
Oh no, shut up.
And he's inspiring because
you better
of
be
it.
ready. People go like, oh, he's a sapakia or he's a dog, or it's probably because they don't understand because he's probably too brainy. You know what I mean? But like with him too, what I've noticed just in my own dealing with him, he's very willing to talk, bro, like all the time. Even I messaged him just before because I got this message, someone saying that they're voting for him. And for the first time voting for ACT in 25 years, never ever would have voted for ACT. And this is like, one of the cuzzies that, te old Māori sort of base saying, And then I just said to him, well, you the old cuzzies, winning the old cuzzies over on from coming on the show, maybe. And then he's sort of like, I enjoy coming on the show anyway. And
But hold on, you're touching on something really interesting there. It's like most people speak in the construct of the mainstream media, which is very, very biased, has its no-go zones and all that kind of stuff. You're never going to see a reporter like yourself there who's going to bring a different side out of a guy like David.
Sacked, brother. I'd get sacked.
You wouldn't get in the door.
No, but even if I got in the door, I'd get sacked the first day, brother.
If you were the courier guy, you wouldn't get in the door. It's like when people ask me to be a politician. It's like when people ask me to be a politician, like Jerry Brownlee, Heke in the house. That'll be my first day and every day, cuz I'll be getting kicked out. Yeah. I don't.
Some people are made to do politics. There's David Seymour. I'm made to talk about it. Talk about this shit. I don't know.
Well, you're vital to democracy, dude. You're doing a service to democracy. We're doing a service to democracy.
100%.
We're doing a service to democracy, bro.
We're upholding democracy, cuz. Because if we can't, democracy isn't a place where only one view is tolerated. That's there's communism, cuz. You know what I mean? That's a dictatorship.
That's a statist idea. Well, that whole idea of diversity within minority groups. I mean, we're going through it now. This might be dated by the time this goes to air, but Annie O'Brien may end up cancelled from an Auckland facility that we've hired for her Good Faith Yarns tour because a straight heterosexual labor activist has decided she's not good for the LGBT. When
hold on. As a lesbian. So the lesbian.
Yep.
The lesbian is getting cancelled from the straight for not being good for the LGBT.
Yeah. Not big. See, but that's the thing about hate speech laws, dude. And there's actually data on this. Like minority groups use them to quell dissenters within those groups.
Well, what's crazy too is I've been doing a little bit of a digging, and it's something that a particular religious sect like to bring in around the world. So I find that quite interesting.
Oh yeah, well we'll go on. Go talk.
No, just that like that a lot of the places that a certain group of individuals, religious individuals, try to always push into the countries that they begin to settle in. Like to try to push on those hate speech laws to bring those in. And then
and the irony there is that they're only doing it because they're religious conservatives. I mean, if Brian Tamaki was pushing for hate speech laws to protect Christians,
ever would, mate.
No, he never would. But if he was, people would identify that as conservatism. But when Islam does it, they don't. And I know that's what they don't. But it's conservative. It's religious conservatives. It's like Anjum Rahman, who was fronting the hate speech laws way back when Andrew Little was tasked with doing something about it. She's a religious conservative. She's not a progressive person. A lot of lefties and far lefties would back her, but they don't know. The thing with the far left is, like, I'll tell you where they're rotten. They don't understand culture and they don't understand religion. They can't see a conservative from a progressive in the faith. They're more likely to attack, and it even happened, Majid Nawaz, who was like wanting to talk about terrorism and fighting terrorism from within Islam. The Muslim community here didn't want him to come in, and a lot of far leftists were backing them. They were backing conservatives against a progressive who wanted to do basically the kind of stuff that you're talking about, cleaning house within.
But
you know what I mean?
The far left seem to be and I know you're an OG lefty, my mate, but like
OG.
the far left are like the hardest to talk to, brother.
Yeah.
Like honestly.
Well, they're extremists.
Like they're the hardest to talk to or to get on. And even just ones that are just tickling, just not even on the far left, but they're in the left. Like they're scared to talk because of the ones on the far left that are going to abuse them if they come and talk to me.
Yeah. They've got that they have to contend with. Well, yeah, bro. Well, I just want to say, bro, that I've really appreciated you coming on. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I could have many more like this, and like I want to commend you and thank you for the work you're doing, for your talent, and for your ability to sit with people like Paul Henry, David Seymour, all these people, all these different people, Brian Tamaki, all these people, and get another side out of them. There's that's a talent, bro. That's a great talent, and you've got that, and you are changing lives. Like I was really moved when you were talking about some of the people who, after you sharing your experience, would come up and give you gifts, and that must have really floored you, bro.
They still do, brother. People still, you see them in the
town, that would have floored you, bro. Like that would have been, you would have felt that, man.
I was at a restaurant, like, I don't know, was this, I don't know if you've seen that video that I did, like with when Winnie P was talking about Don Tamaki and he was in that meeting out west. That day I was at a restaurant with Billy Brown and Karina, and then I walked outside and there was this dude and he was like, bro, I seen you in there and I wanted to let you have a feed. But I just wanted to say, brother, thank you so much, brother, for being so strong to speak up. And it's crazy, because I was like, far out, there's so many people out there that aren't speaking up. And if they can give them inspiration, bro, keep going, keep talking, brother. I think in 20 years' time, hopefully I can be one, just like Sam, Troth, and many of others. There can be a light for those that in 20 years' time, as these conversations are happening more now, they're not swept under the rug because of people like myself and many others. Yeah.
Kia ora.
Thank you for listening to Free to Speak. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and consider sharing the podcast with others. We release new episodes regularly, and subscribing is the easiest way to stay up to date. If you have any questions, feedback or suggestions, you can contact us at podcast@fsu.nz. If you want to find out more about the New Zealand Free Speech Union, visit fsu.nz.